Welcome back to TrippTalk Tech. We got another super dope show for y'all today. Super informative show. We are here at the Rehabilitation Center for Humanity in Baltimore, Maryland, where there are just tons of resources and services for people, adults, and youth needing help with psychiatric and mental rehabilitation needs, as well as anyone needing drug or alcohol recovery service. This is the place. This is the show for you today. Today we got a privilege to hook up with 2 to 3 owners of Rehabilitation Center for Humanity, Gemette Best and Jamie Frierson. Thank you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. At TrippTalk Tech, we love to show love to the people in our communities that are making a difference, that are really kind of breaking ground and empowering our community, making it better. And, that's why we're here today. We want to just salute you guys for the work that you're doing and just helping people in everyday lives. Obviously, helping the community overall by taking one person at a time and helping them through their hardships, but also looking at it from a family individual standpoint. You're getting these people back on track to maybe change their family generational line and curses that, again, things that might have been affecting them for a while that nobody had the guts or the abilities to step up to, and you guys providing the services to help them to get on track and find that way. So salute to you guys for what you're doing in the community.
Thank you.
I'm sure the community salutes you.
They do.
They
do.
So with that being said, let's get right to it. We go into RCH. Can you give our audience just a little bit more detail, or the kind of services you guys provide and what you do for the community?
So RCH is acronym for Rehabilitation Center for Humanity. And our slogan is making strides one step at a time. We understand that a lot of our issues and problems come from putting a Band-Aid on a wound, and it doesn't heal when you do that. We're a company that does not believe in a microwave effect. We literally take our time, learn all of the needs when it comes to their psychiatric rehabilitation, as well as you stated substance abuse, so that's drug and alcohol. We try to cover all bases. We don't like to just get you in for substance abuse, but then after meeting with you, assessing you, talking to you, we learn that there's other issues. And you can't fix one without fixing all. You can't move on to the next step without fixing all. And we pretty much just advocate. We advocate in areas where they may not be educated or familiar with, a process. Basically processes that assist them with functioning in the community, in society. Even with our substance abuse side, we learned that a lot of our addicts and individuals that are on alcohol, drugs, or whatever, they were at one point were in the community as functioning individuals. However, tragedy, trauma, and some may be able to overcome that, but you have some who just simply cannot.
Understood.
So those are the individuals that we advocate for. Those are the ones that we push for. Those are the ones that we help. Psychiatric rehabilitation, that's a different avenue. Okay. Those individuals, not all, but some, they pretty much sometimes have mental issues that prevent them from knowing something as simple to us.
I got you.
Something as simple as creating a daily routine. You wake up in the morning, you take care of your hygiene, you eat breakfast, you prepare they don't know how to do that. Yeah. So we push and we take it for granted. Yeah. You see all the time people on social media bashing, well, where is this? Where is that? Even the kids, where the parents? You don't understand. Some of these individuals, the parents need help. Mm-hmm. So you can't really judge a situation unless you're really in it and can see everything across the board. Yeah.
Understood. Now, what made you guys decide to create this service offering? Just like myself, I'm sure as entrepreneurs, you probably could have picked anything, that you could have put your mind and hard work to. Why RCH?
Well, let me just start by saying this. We have grew up in a family. our grandmother, my mother, they have always been in the community working. This is what we grew up seeing. We grew up seeing. Anybody needed food in the neighborhood, my grandmother would feed them. And all the grandkids flocked at my grandmother's house because she was always giving. When a funeral came up, they cooked all the food if there was a funeral in the neighborhood or at the church. So they was always giving. They always had the doors open for people to come in and stay. You needed a place to stay. Grandma's house was the place to stay. Needed a place to stay. My mother's house was a place to stay. So my mother did foster care for a certain period of time. So we've always seen our family working in the community. Wow. So because of that, we've always had the heart for the people, a heart for the community. We always wanted to do some type of change. So Jamie and myself have been working in the community for years. Delroy, who's the other partner, has been in the community for years. He actually is a social worker. So he's been in the community working. So we all decided to put all of our collaborative efforts together, and we decided to create Rehabilitation Center for Humanity.
And let's not exclude, it's personal for all three of us.
Okay.
We have a history, and I'm sure everybody's family has a history, or one or two individuals who have suffered from either mental illness or substance abuse. One being my mother. So it's personal. You know, again, like Gemette said, we're family. So when one is affected, we're all affected. And like she explained, our grandmother, she never closed her door. So whether you were in the community, whether you were on drugs, whether you drank, whether you were just homeless, she never closed her door. She always helped whoever she could. And that's what we grew up seeing. That's why it's easy for us. You know, we didn't go to school to learn this. This is not something that we took courses in or anything. No, this is natural with us. And it's genuine. You know, like I said, we've been in, like she said, in the community for years. I think what made us want to make it a business was probably after my mother passed away in 2019. So the end of 2019, we learned that, you know, this is bigger than us. You get tired of watching the news and seeing all of the issues and things of that nature. It's like, what can we do to contribute to change with this problem?
That's dope.
So
the kind of piggyback right off of that is funny. Y'all right on my page with the questioning, but and I think you both guys kind of referenced this. Growing up in Baltimore, right? Growing up in that community environment back then, you know, did that help you to be able to relate to the people and the clients that come through the doors of RCH? And if so, in which ways?
So we grew up in White Lock City. You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely saw a lot, again, with community, family. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't until me and Gemette just actually had this story a minute ago. We were riding down the street. My mother was on the corner. Gemette pulled over and told her, come here. What was she doing on the corner? Selling herself to get money to be able to pay for her drugs. So at that point is when I moved, because I'm like, people know me around here. They know this is my mother. They know. So that's just one incident. And it was like, you know, she was just one person. There was a lot of that going on in the area. You walk out the door, hustles on the corner. You know, prostitutes on the corner. Children, who are products of these individuals raising themselves. So it definitely had an impact on, especially being blessed, even though that was what we were seeing, what we may have been experiencing, it never affected us. Like, we didn't fall victim to it. So because we were blessed, we wanted to know how could we be a blessing to those individuals who didn't get that opportunity. So, yeah.
No, and again, you guys make a good point as far as and you guys alluded to it earlier too, the trauma, right? And again, and I think this is where you guys are making that great in between, because hey, you're reversing that trauma wheel and hopefully healing. Because to your point, maybe you never did anything as a kid. You're an innocent kid, but the trauma of what you've seen, somebody you love, that's your mom. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So now you get that trauma. You have no choice, no matter how good you are, no matter how good you try to walk, but to pass that trauma down.
That's right.
That you felt.
Yeah.
So again, what you guys are doing, I mean, this is what I see in the mental health wellness and what you guys are doing. I just, again, the stopping of those generational curses,
That's
those
right.
generational traumas. Because again, hey, we're going to do something different. To your point, maybe we just go to therapy.
And that's what we do. So remember I hit earlier when I said we go across the board. Individual comes to us with substance abuse. We learn that they had a traumatic experience that maybe led up to it. Could have been the death of a loved one, in which we find a lot of them is children, spouses, parents or parental units that, raised them or whatever. But again, once we learn that trauma is what caused this, we connect them with psychiatric help, a psychiatrist, a therapist. And one thing about us, we don't just refer you out. No, we have to have a rapport. We have to have a relationship, because one thing about us, we're going to make sure that the help that we're referring you to is effective, because we need it to work. And we also let them know we can give you the information, we can give you the steps, but we need you to help us to help you. I think that's one of the biggest challenges, because one of the things is free will and a right. So we run into a lot of individuals who don't have the mentality to know what's good for them as far as their behavioral health is concerned. So we introduce it to them, but they have the right to say, no. I don't want the help. I don't need the services. That's right. I don't want this medication, because, and a lot of it comes from abuse, trust issues, because of maybe being a part of previous programs. And I'm not bashing, previous programs or whichever, or any program for that matter. But I just want everybody to get on the same page and come together, one common ground, so that we can touch on the main thing, which is giving effective help. Let's say that. I'm not going to say helping. Let's say giving effective help.
And to your point, I'm sure it's enough people with trauma to go around to be able to be helped. So it's not a.
That's what I was going to add.
It's not a saturated market.
Right. And I was going to add to this. We in the Black community, we are a community that has been affected the most by the most trauma, PTSD, because it's been centuries where the home environment has been broken. The male has been taken out of the home. It's so many attributes that brought us to where we are now as a Black community. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of band-aids. Like Jamie said, there's band-aids. There's a lot of layers to even get to the root of the actual issue. Because we can see an adult and the children, and most of the times when you see a child with a mental health diagnosis, 9 times out of 10, the parents have the mental health diagnosis. So we had to really get to the root of it, which is the parent. Because that's how we're going to be able to get to the child. So it takes so much time, and it takes a lot of work to get them to a place in life where they even at a baseline with a mental health diagnosis.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of work.
And let's be clear, you're also dealing with a mentality of trying to help an individual or for people who they want something. If you're not giving them what they want, I need help with rent, I need food, I need this. And that's one thing we explain to them. We'll help you this time with your food, but we also connect them with resources but our main goal is to find out, why do you need this help to buy food?
Gotcha.
How did you get here?
What happened that you
changed that?
Exactly.
Back to trying to find the root of
root of the problem, and that's what we are big on.
And that's healing. That's real healing.
Because if we buy you this food and don't implement those things, we're going to keep buying them food.
You be back.
Keep paying rent. Keep buying food. You know what I mean? So we have to fix that problem. And even with the youth, like Gemette said, it's trickled down. So picture we're helping a child. Parent doesn't get what they want. But again, this is their legal guardian. They have the right to decline services for the child. And they're doing a disservice to both themselves and the child. You know what I mean? And that's probably the most frustrating part. But we don't give up.
We navigate through it.
Gotcha.
We definitely do.
So from a mental health and wellness standpoint, I'm glad it sounds, I know here it's very, number one, that's what you guys do. But obviously, like on social media, you're starting to see a lot more awareness around it. I'm not going to say a lot of people are taking onto it just yet, but a lot more, hey, this is a real thing. In your opinion, what seems to be the issues plaguing our kids the most? And I know we just went through this tiered thing of, hey, maybe it's probably more than likely the parents, but when you get to the kid, before you get to the parents, social media, it's a lot of things. Like, where do you see a lot in the kids that you see that come through here?
Lack of guidance.
I think it's environmental as well.
Yeah,
It's
environment
very
plays a big
environmental.
part.
Yeah, and I think too, like even with certain neighborhoods. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Even
you're
in
fine.
certain neighborhoods, I think it's not enough implementation for the children in a lot of neighborhoods. And when I say that is, I would say like city resources to clean up some of these border houses to give them a different mentality that we don't have to live in slums. If you have a good environment, a good healthy environment, it changes things. And I think that that's what we need for a lot of our communities. And like now, like you said, now people are starting to be aware of it, and which is we're grateful to God of that they're starting to be aware of it, because now hopefully that all the like you said, it's a lot of programs in Baltimore City, and hopefully some of these programs we can all make an impact in some of our communities. But again, if the border houses are not cleaned up around the city, if we don't give them hope in these particular areas, we are working a lot harder than smarter.
Well, actually, what you just said happens again, right? If we don't take this approach to clean up the environment, you're coming to get this help, and it's almost like me giving you the free food, right? You'll be back because your environment is going to just keep eroding on you, and you got to keep coming back for more pills.
And when you are in this field and you hands-on, you can actually see environment is probably like 10% of the problem. Majority of the problem, probably the other 90% is the mental health. Again, so you got one issue, the trauma. The trauma led for you to maybe decline, not be motivated, depression. You know what I mean? We were raised on man creates his own conditions. But again, everybody is not able to do that. I didn't have the greatest childhood. I'm sure Gemette had some, challenges. Our third partner, Darryl, he had some challenges. But again, everybody's mental is not capable of making a positive out of a negative. So you got the environment, that's 10%. You got your mental, that's 90%. And that's why we advocate. Because when you know better, you do better.
That's right.
We expose them to knowing that there is better. You just have to want it. Okay, well, how do I get there? Again, we got to start from scratch. Where's your mental? We can put you in a GED program, which is something that we offer. But why would I put you in a GED program if you're not motivated? If you're nodding off, you can't get the lesson. You know what I mean? So we have to work on the mental, and that's what a lot of people don't want to understand. I like to be like a look outside the box type of person. That's what I like to call myself. Because again, you have to get deep. You can't look at the surface. You have to look outside the box and know from scratch, where did it start? How did it start? Who, what, when, where, why? That's what we use, right? Who, what, when, where, and why. And when you start answering those questions, you can start to create a blueprint for a resolution.
That's what's up. So how does RCH and the work you guys do here tie into your personal life purpose? I'll let both of y'all answer that question.
I think my purpose, okay, so let's backtrack. Remember I said I didn't have the greatest upbringing, but I didn't have the worst either.
True.
But I don't take it for granted.
Cool.
I think everything that I may have gone through, we may have gone through, was to prepare us for what we're doing. When we start our sessions, when we meet individuals, the one thing that we start off with is being transparent. We give our stories. Why do we give our stories? Because we want individuals to see we are what you can be. Our personal lives, again, I'm an open book. Our personal lives is why we are so passionate and genuine about what we do and how we do it. We really feel like those experiences is what taught us. Like I said, we didn't go to school. We didn't go to college. It is years of experience of just being in the community and everything, but our personal lives really played a major part, and that's why we're good at it. It's like with anything, the more you do it, or the more you see it, or the more you're a part of it, the better you get, right? Or the better you are. So it really taught us how to do different and want different, be better, and pass it along.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so if there's entrepreneurs out there listening to this interview, and again, looking up to start their own kind of business or something, I'm not saying it has to be in this field. 20,000 foot view. What does it take to kind of persevere and build something like a RCH?
First thing is discipline. You have to be disciplined. Everybody thinks being an entrepreneur is easy. I want my own business. I want to make my own time, set my own schedule. I don't have a boss. Oh, you have a boss. Your boss are your clients, the people you service. As an entrepreneur, we can't come in here whenever we want to. No, we have to be here on time before the clients come. You have a time. Again, the services that you're providing, you have to make sure we don't have anybody to write us up, but the clients can get upset. Consistency is key. You know what I mean? If we start slipping, then the program starts slipping, and then everything goes haywire. So discipline is number one, and a structure.
Right. And I think too, when you're dealing with the community, and if you're going to build a business such as this, I think it has to come from the heart. You gotta care for the community at large. And if you want to build another business, it does take dedication. It takes tenacity, because sometimes you may fall. All great leaders have made a mistake or fell. But the biggest key to it is if you had to get back up and keep going, no matter how many falls you may have, because there may be some no's. But when you keep going, there will be a yes if you keep at it and have the tenacity with it. And I think that's the biggest thing with most entrepreneurs that is trying, is sometimes your falls, but your falls can be it could be a setback.
Learning experience.
That's right. It could be a learning experience.
Because let's be clear, businesses is going to constantly change.
Yeah.
When we started, we had a whole blueprint. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to make this happen, make that happen. But once you get into it, and again, you see it can't work across the board, because this person has a challenge there. This person can't read. This person. So the business is constantly changing. But what you do is you learn from it, and you just structure it in a manner where it can be effective for everybody. And like Gemette said, and don't give up.
Don't give up.
We had a lot of doors closed in the beginning, like a lot of doors when we were reaching out for funding and things of that nature. Because let's be clear, we started in talking about it 2019, January the 13th, 2020 to be exact. I started the process, got us registered with the state of Maryland. Everything was approved. We ready to roll. February, we got our office space. We setting it up. We doing everything. And what happened March 2020?
COVID.
Pandemic. So we were still paying for our space.
We did everything.
We were still keeping everything up.
Yeah. As if we were up and running, even during COVID time. And that's what I say. That could have been, if we didn't keep persistent, if we didn't stay persistent in that during COVID time, we would have given up. But we were so determined that this was our calling. This was the place to be. So we just kept going and kept the tenacity going, even through COVID.
So again, I think you guys just touched on purpose. You understood your purpose. But one thing you said, Gemette, and I have to agree with, both of you guys are saying it, but I think you touched on the word. I think it comes back to, you must have a love for wherever it is you're doing. It's not about the money, right?
Yes.
You guys didn't jump in this for money. Actually, to your point, you ran into a roadblock with money because of COVID, right? But it was the love that kept you guys persevering through that. And I think, go ahead.
And we still do it. So picture like now, we're good, we're up and running, but Gemette is actually in charge of like processing authorizations, billings, and things of that nature. But we run into problems all the time where a client is no longer authorized. We can't get referrals from the therapist or something like that to continue getting paid for the services.
And not to cut you off, I apologize, but I want to jump right where you at with that, because this jumps into my next question. To this point, what is the biggest or some of the biggest hurdles you guys have to face to keep this thing going?
I think with us, the biggest hurdles is, again, having a collaborative effort with other partnerships, right? I think what's important for a business like this, you need various partnerships. And when I say that, you need, you need the therapists to be connected. You need the methadone clinics to be connected. You need psychiatrists. You need all types of things to be connected. And I think that the connection and the partnerships is what is kind of like a biggest hurdle to us. Again, Jamie said sometimes things fall through the cracks as far as the authorizations and things like that, but referrals for the clients. So that can be sometimes challenging. And sometimes we see clients for totally free.
And that's what I was getting ready to get to.
We see
when they come, we don't stop.
Yeah, we don't stop because the funding might be there. We keep going and we help clients. Even we've helped clients for months before we even got them to authorize to see them at that point. Right. So we do a lot of community work, and still we're still running an organization. You know what I mean?
Now, to your point, Gemette and Jamie. You guys, you said something big, and it gets me to start thinking in my technology brain, right?
Right.
But how do you overcome that issue as far as connecting? Is the connection just about, hey, this agency really doesn't want to share, or I mean, just in your experience, not saying this is everybody.
Well, I think there has been a few roadblocks, but now we do have some pretty good therapists and pretty good psychiatrists in place now. Good, and we're telling you about some of the
old stuff. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, that's fine.
So now we have tweaked a lot of things, and we actually have things in place now where we have the great partnerships. Good. So which makes it a lot easier for the clients, and I think in partnerships, and you know that your clients are being taken care of. We always say our partnerships, we want someone that had the heart that we did. We want someone that's going to go maybe knock on them doors and say, hey, mental health check today. You know, and we have that in place now. We literally have a therapist that say, hey, I'm going to go to the house, mental health check, what's happening, what's going on. So we need that. We need that tenacity in the community for these individuals because we're dealing with various mental health diagnoses.
And not even just that, but so like nurse Mana, Kate, she's our psychiatric nurse practitioner. And one thing she does is, I'm talking about even outside of that, we go above and beyond. Even us as owners, we're going to always have our feet on the pavement. We are the ones going in the markets and gathering up the food and taking it to these clients' houses and things like that. No, we don't get big-headed. We don't feel like, we're the owners. We don't have to do anything. We're going to always be hands-on, no matter how big we get, no matter what. And one thing I can honestly say, God has really blessed us because when we first started, I want to say it started maybe 10 and then 15. And then over time, it like literally started growing faster than, supply and demand almost. So we had to start, again, making those changes, doing things to keep up. And we're still doing that. You know what I mean?
And along with doing that, we added more programs to our under our umbrella, because Rehabilitation Center for Humanity is all. So we added more programs under our umbrella that's coming soon, and we're going to still keep expanding as we see the need in the community.
So residential, because a lot of the individuals
didn't have a place to stay.
Homeless. That's the first question they ask. Do you have housing? You have housing. So that's one thing that we are in the process of having approved currently, and our OMHC, which is having our own therapists. So we'll be actually hiring our own staff and therapists to see our clients, in need or whichever. So it's that we're definitely working on having a lot under one umbrella, even a nonprofit. We're right now working on sports league, but everybody is not capable of having AAU. You're familiar with that. It's costly. When my daughter played in AAU, I have a daughter in cheer. They going to Vegas, but these things cost. So what we want to do is provide a safe space where they can be entertained, where they can be, productive. Because when you have idle time, that's when you get in trouble. That's when let's say opportunities, college scholarships and things like that. A lot of people who have talent are not being recognized because they don't have the money to play in the leagues where people can see them. So right now we are working with a few individuals actually to get that started with the sports part for the youth and things of that nature. And not just the youth, but the adults as well. We give them little ins and outs jobs, responsibilities, and they just love the fact of having a chance, not being judged. Us not looking at them like, oh no, you ain't coming in here, or you're not. No, we do not do that. Again, you should see the look on their face when they just get a second chance or an opportunity.
Oh, I know.
An
I know.
opportunity, like I'm talking about cleaning a bath, or you know what I mean, like just a task or a responsibility of open the door for us. Like when clients come in, because we might not be able to keep stopping to open the door, whichever. Can you answer the door? Can you make sure the coffee is replenished? Things like that. Like they love it. The fact that they're being trusted, even in their condition, even in their positions, to be able to do something.
And it starts somewhere.
It starts somewhere.
Right?
And we tell them all the time, RCH is growing, but we let them know we are pushing for you to get better so we can hire you.
That's right.
To work and give back and do the way that we helped you.
Now you understand, you're part of the fabric, you understand your issues, so you know what this person coming.
They ask us all the time, where our shirts? Where we want our stuff, and the crazy part is we have them. You know, we have them, so we ready.
Cool. Hey, look, y'all bring y'all little sports league out to the golf tournament. We all do a whole thing for the kiddies, man. We get them going. 2 more questions, and I'll let y'all go for the day. I did some research, and I found out, you know, y'all have some extracurricular activity events going on. I think July the 9th. You guys are doing the crab feast. I know you guys talked about partnerships. I want you to take this time to talk about what you got coming up, like events like that one that you might want people to come to. And also talk about, like you said, you're reaching out to partnerships. You're reaching out to different things. What do you need? What are you looking for? What help can you use maybe from some sponsoring companies out there?
So we've talked about being a vendor at the Airframe this year to reach out, network, connect, you know, put the information out in the community. The crab feast for us is a big deal. Our hopes for that is to get funding and raise money from the event because, like we said, we're in the process of purchasing houses. One thing that you cannot do as a business is purchase houses with a loan, commercial properties. So we want to make sure that we have the money to be able to get these residential, you know, units to be able to rehab, fix, and house our clients. And not just that, but just fix up the communities. You know what I mean? Why not do something with these boarded houses around the communities?
Which goes back to your first point of change the environment. Change what they see. And again, you guys are wrapping it all in the same purpose. 3 tiers.
It's full circle.
Coming back.
Full circle.
So again, you know you guys are on the right track of what you're doing because again, it's called coming back around to the same solution. So
so July 9th, again, at the Patapsco Arena. Tickets can be purchased from our website, which is www.rchprpservices.com. Go to the events tab, and you can go through there to get information off the flyer and, again, purchase those tickets. But yeah, everything that we do is always going to be for the benefit of the community, not personal gain. We learn and we know just from, like we said with our grandmother, she did all of that. She didn't have the incomes we have or get state funding and things of that nature. But when you know how to be a blessing, you will be blessed with what you need and to be able to succeed.
You're already.
So.
All right, guys. Last but definitely not least, we ask all our guests favorite pair of sneakers of all time. I know this. You know.
Excuse me. My favorite pair of sneakers. Adidas,
okay.
Yeezys,
okay.
I
All
love
right,
Yeezys.
Now Gemette, you gotta give it a shot.
She took mine. It was Yeezys, but all right, I'm gonna switch it up.
But she's not really a tennis shoe wearer.
I'm not.
That's probably why she did that.
Yeah,
but.
I'm not. I feel like Yeezys are. They just feel like you want air. They comfortable.
Yes.
So that would have been my choice, but I'll say Jordan since she said that.
You don't even wear Jordan. You got to wear Jordan.
Hey, look,
and when you in these streets,
she gonna get some. She gonna get some.
When we walk in these markets and knocking on doors and going to schools and things of that nature, you need comfortable feet.
Yep.
You know, so those Yeezys. Shout out to Kanye. Thank you. Now he can come down on the price a little bit, but we definitely listen.
Or send some donations.
Send some donations. Kanye, send us some donations. We got a lot of people that's hitting the pavement that need to do it comfortably.
For real. Hit them up. Man, I want to thank you, Jamie and Gemette, man, just for your time today, man. We got
appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are just helping a lot of people with your services. Like I said, just understanding more about it. I'm actually glad we had this interview just for me to understand kind of your purpose But to see how it's all circling and come back, it's like right on line with a lot of things that, again, TrippTalk Tech is in line with, as well as Swing the Soil, my nonprofit. So again, it's just this, to hear the same community ties is just like, that's that big smile. And again, knowing that our community will be much better when we leave it the way we leave it.
And if you know individuals, also the same site for referrals. If you want to be a part of RCH and what we have going on, everything is on the website, which again is www.rchprpservices.com.
And I'll put all of that on the screen as we were talking about it, so they'll see that. If there's any other information, contact information you want to get out to folks, let's do that now.
They can contact our office directly at 410-362-2983. And let's be clear, even though we have a 9 to 5 or office hours 9 to 7, we 24 hours. We answering phones at night. We answering text messages. We are physically getting up and meeting individuals and places or whichever. So it's
you just gave the world your phone number, and you said you're 24 hours. You better watch that.
Hey, that's what it's about, right?
I don't know. Hey, look, within reason, everybody. Don't take that when it go off.
Within reason.
I want to thank both of y'all again for your time, man. Until next time, it's TrippTalk Tech, y'all.
Thank you.
See you later.
TrippTalk Tech. You gotta see it even when it never is far-fetched. Gotta believe in yourself in the process until you progress, till you progress.